Today, we're talking about being productive throughout your day. Hey, it's Tom Jacobs, TomJacobs.com. There it is. Make sure you're subscribing on the little button here. If you're watching it on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, make sure you're making comments below. I'd love to interact with you and see how you're doing in your business, because that is what I love to do, is help business operators move to becoming business owners so that you can live the dream lifestyle that you absolutely deserve. So today what I want to talk about is how to organize your days so that you are being as productive as possible. And I have a little confession to make. This past couple weeks, I have not been that productive, to be quite honest, and it kind of, it scared me a little bit, because I tend to be a pretty productive person, and making sure that I do everything necessary to make sure that my days are productive. But I look back at the last couple of weeks and I was like, oh my gosh, I have not been as productive as I needed to be. And what I wanted to share with you is what I had done previously to be productive and what I stopped doing in the last couple of weeks, which, you know, it happens, right? How to be productive, schedule your day. One thing that I make sure that I do is I have, of course, that whole to-do list, right? You're like, all this stuff up in your head. Get it out of your head and get it down on paper. And it's best to do like the day before, the night before, something like that, because the more it sits in your head, the less likely you're able to sleep at night, and you keep thinking about all that stuff. You get it out of your head, it's on paper, that whole process of just getting it down. And the brain just realizes it's down on paper, you're not going to forget it, and so it's not going to dwell on it. So make sure that you are doing absolutely that. You're just dumping everything down. All the little to-do lists, things like that, whatever it is. And just earlier today, I was typing in my little Evernote, and it was like, I got to do some weed eating on my front little yard area because it was kind of a mess. I got to clean my car. There's some personal stuff in there as well. And that is absolutely okay to do, because the second step that you're going to do is take those pieces and you're going to chunk them or create little categories that make sense. So like all the personal stuff, like getting the weeds out of the garden and cleaning my car, that's probably something that I could take care of on a Saturday morning or something like that, or a Sunday afternoon, something like that. And then what I typically do is with those chunks is then figure out, one, can I delegate that? Later this year, I'm going to a really good friend's wedding, and I have a layover in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I have to get a visa. I didn't realize that, I had to get a visa to go to Brazil. So I quickly I had that down, but during my little block of time, I just wrote an email to my virtual assistant and I said, hey, can you give me the application? Can you give me step-by-step instructions, exactly what I need to do to get a visa to Brazil? That's all I did then. It took me like 15 seconds. I did it while I was driving. I pulled over, of course. I don't text and drive. But the thought came in my mind. I was like, oh, I need to just delegate that. And that's something that's off my to-do list. It would have normally probably taken me an hour to do all the investigation, do all that. But I just give that to somebody else to do. And it's well worth the 15, 20 bucks or whatever it's going to cost me to have somebody else do that. And then I can go on and do a higher level or higher paying type of activity, like creating a marketing campaign that's going to bring in thousands of dollars in business to, my fitness studios. So that is an example of, you're taking these chunks, you now categorize them, and you figure out, what can I give to somebody else to do very quickly? And what do then I need to do? And then what you do is you look the day, I do this in the morning, after I do my little morning routine, I look at my calendar and I see what hard appointments that I have in there, and then I'll start to schedule blocks of time, and I typically do about 50 minutes, 50 minutes, and then I use a 10-minute transition where I get up, I walk around, I socialize, I might go into the gym floor and do a little exercise just to get the blood flowing and things like that, and that resets the brain. Then I go into my next chunk of time. And what I found is that when I start to schedule out my day like that, there's no white spaces. And what I tend not to do is go, what should I do next? And it's always the urgent, important things that you're doing next, which should never be in that urgent, important piece if you are always doing what's important, but not necessarily urgent, meaning you're planning the day and getting everything that you need to do done. So I'll just recap for you. Simple steps to get you more productive throughout the day. One, you've got to get it out of your head. All those to-do lists, just like dump it, like get it out, right? And then start to categorize them or put them in chunks that make sense where they go together. And then start to figure out, what can I delegate, give to somebody else to do, and what do I need to do? And then in the morning, when you're deciding what to do for that day, you're creating your chunks of time. Of course, you have your appointments and things like that that are already on your calendar, but then you probably have some white space on your calendar. You need to fill that white space and be very specific about what you're going to do. I like to do hour chunks, 50 minutes, 10 minutes of transition in between those chunks, and just bang it out. If you don't finish it, that's okay. It's a good carryover for the next day or the day after, something like that. But stick with those times and you'll feel so much more productive. I tell you what, I feel so much better today than I did yesterday when I was like looking back at the last couple of weeks and going, gosh, I haven't done everything I needed to do. So there you go. I hope this was very, very helpful for you. I expect you to be productive. You expect you to be productive. Give me some comments below. Share this video with other people that aren't being productive, and maybe they will be productive, and thank you for it. And throw them over to my website, tomjacobs.com. We'll love to chat with you about how I can help you with your business. You guys get on a phone and chat, no big deal, and see what's going on in your business and if I might be able to help you out. If I'm not able to, I can certainly refer you to other people that might be able to. So there you go. I enjoy speaking to you, so come on back next week, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care.